Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. I'm here in studio with Mark Thompson from Esteban Carreras. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
And, of course, Todd Lascola from the Habano Cigar Club.
Hi,
Welcome,
Paul.
Todd.
What's going on?
Online via Skype, I got Will Cooper. Welcome, Will.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Hey, Mark. Hey, Todd.
Hey, what's going on, Will?
Yeah, Mark, thank you for joining us. We're kind of doing a little special segment here before we start our regular show. You have to be next door doing an event.
Correct.
So we roped you in and brought you in here into the studio for an interview. So how is the event going next door?
So far, so good. It's our first incursion into the Rhode Island area with Todd. We met him at the show and hit it off well, and we're coming in with some of the Chupa Cabra line, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, so tell me about the Chupa Cabra line. I when you say Chupa Cabra, me being a nerd, I think of the X-Files episode when
Sure.
they were investigating the Chupa Cabra.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think of the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a funny story with Chupa Cabra. You know, everybody relates it to the mythical creature, and we've played off on that. It's actually named after a boat. The owner of the company is a sports fisherman. His name's Craig Cunningham, and as the story goes, he had fished in the tournament down there a couple years in a row and lost to the boat Chupa Cabra.
Mm-hmm.
So he named a cigar after it out of respect. And it just stuck, and we've run with the name ever since.
That's really cool. So tell me about the blend. You've got a natural Maduro. What are the kind of
It's a
wrapper
Habano
blend?
Oscuro wrapper on the natural, and a Habano Maduro on the Maduro version. The binder and filler are Nicaraguan, so it's a Nicaraguan Puro through and through. However, I can't go any further than that as far as the blend. The rest is proprietary.
Excellent, excellent. And what different sizes is the Chupa Cabra line?
Chupa Cabra comes in 10 sizes.
Wow.
So it's been a little rock star for us. Everything from the little petite Corona that I'm smoking right now up to a 6x60. And we have a Perfecto in the line that's something along the lines of a pig, a feral pig, similar shape. And
And you have a Lancero?
we have Lancero.
Is that the one that Todd's smoking now?
Todd's smoking the
I'm
Lancero.
smoking Lancero now.
Is that a new offering or?
No.
Okay.
The newest offering is the little 4x42.
Okay.
When we first brought it out, we came out in 8 sizes to try and cover as many of the palettes, the style of cigars that the customers wanted to have.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
which line is the Lancero in?
It's in both.
It's in both.
Both cigars come in the same Vitolas.
Okay.
So both part of the Chupa Cabra line, just in the Habano and the Habano Maduro.
Correct.
Gotcha. Very cool. Will, did you have questions for Mark? I know you guys know each other.
Yeah, I've been a long-time Esteban Carreras fan going back. Mark knows I'm a big fan of the Habano Maduro. I think one thing, Mark, that I really admire about the company is how you guys now have your own factory.
Right.
So you're not just a brand owner. You guys are manufacturing cigars right now.
Correct. Not only are we making our cigars, but we make a couple other cigars for a couple of other boutique companies as well.
Yep. Now, the other thing I understand is there was a cigar you had called the Diez Años, correct?
Correct.
That's that box press.
The box pressed 10-year San Andreas, yes.
Yep, that's a fantastic cigar. Now, that cigar's still around?
It is. There was a little hiccup in production for a while. We had someone else that was making the cigar for us, and when we brought it in-house, we made a batch, and it wasn't quite right. And with it being a flagship cigar of ours, we didn't put it out until we got it just exactly the way it needed to be. So it's up and running again. It's full bore.
No, go ahead, Will. Sorry.
No,
finish.
go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was just going to say, with 10 different sizes in the line, I guess first, how do you steer a customer, and this is kind of a question for Todd too, how do you steer a customer into that right size with 10 different, they want to say, well, I want to try Esteban Carreras, but I got 10 choices, let's say, if a shop's carrying all 10, for example.
Correct.
Like, how do you steer the customer?
Really, you don't steer them as much as you find out what they like now. And then if they ask about another size, then you can go into detail how the smaller ring gauges smoke a little different than the larger ring gauges and so on. But I don't typically steer someone. If you came in and said, I like this cigar and I'm a Toro smoker,
Yeah.
I'm not going to steer you to a Lancero.
Put them in the size they're comfortable in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as a store, you sort of look at the sizes that you know match your customers.
Right.
And those
so
are
you're
the
not going to
lines.
carry all 10 sizes
No,
necessarily.
you're going to bring in the sizes
yeah.
that are popular with
In
your
the store.
existing customer base.
Exactly.
So that you can expose them to it in a size that they're familiar with, but with the different, obviously different company and a different blend.
Right. I guess
And
because
what's-
I
yeah, it's a
struggle.
big thing.
Well, I struggle with that because I smoke all different kinds of sizes of cigars.
Sure.
And I like to kind of start smoking my way through the line to figure out which one I like best because I find that most cigar manufacturers tweak the blend, and in somewhat different ways will tweak the blend according to the size.
Correct.
And sometimes the way they tweak a blend for a certain size just really appeals to my palate. So
Well, with the small Chupita that I'm smoking now, it's just a little powerhouse of flavor. You're just
Yeah.
getting pounded one puff after the next. The larger ring gauges, a Toro or Robusto Grande, you pick up a lot more of the little subtle flavors that are hidden in the cigar. As
hidden those filler wrappers.
Right.
That, yeah.
You're getting a
all
little
have
bit
different
more of that.
flavors. but
Exactly.
yeah. I think in the smaller sizes, the wrapper tends to dominate
Right.
the flavor.
And since we're short on time, Mark, you should definitely talk about the Connecticut with the double.
Right, we have our 12-year Connecticut. It's a double wrap. It's just a nice mild to medium cigar. It was a cigar that we call the Connecticut White Label that we had out about 4 years ago, and we just tweaked the blend, and it just changed the whole cigar completely. Rebanded it. It's a gorgeous cigar. Your mild to medium guys, it's a Connecticut that has flavor. It's not bitter. It's not bland. It's just a nice, flavorful cigar.
And that's one of the things because we actually got the cigars in today.
Right. Yeah.
We bring
That was cutting it close.
cutting a little bit close, but it was launched today, and the first thing that strikes you is the construction and the way the cigar presents itself.
Right.
It's really a very attractive cigar.
Well, in the Chupa Cabra line, it's a real toothy, kind of veiny looking cigar. It's packed in a bed of tobacco in the box. It's just, when you open it up, it's not celloed. It's just really pretty to look at. On the shelf, it just has a presence.
I like the Maduro better than the natural so far. It's just been introduced to the line, and I love the volume of smoke that comes off of the Maduro. It's really, really nice.
Right. Well, we brought the natural out first, and it was just an absolute rock star for us. In anticipation, we were hoping that it would do as well as Diez Años did for us. So we made about double the amount, hoping that we'd have that success and that would leave us some backup. We sold everything we had. It immediately went into a back order situation with the original Chupa Cabra.
Which is a good and bad place to
Right.
be, right?
Right. But when we had it out on the market, we had other customers that were saying, I really like this cigar, but I'd like to have a little bit more pop to it. So we brought the Maduro out the following year. We kind of jokingly call it Chupa Cabra on steroids. It's just got a little bit more bump, but it's not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. Nice medium full.
One of the things, Paul, you notice if you can see the ash here, I mean, you can see on the camera how white the ash is here. It really smokes very well. Very thin razor line on the cigar, very white ash. It's just a really well-made cigar.
Nice. Will, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to cut you off before. Did you have more questions for Mark?
Oh, I got to ask this one. So, Mark, at the show, you guys were talking about a new launch called Black Cross. Is that something that we can expect to see?
Yes.
In the next couple of months?
The word I'm getting from Craig at the moment is hopefully in January.
Awesome. Awesome.
Was that the one you were talking
is there
about
anything you
before
can tell
that?
us about that cigar?
Not
Don't
really.
forward it.
I got to smoke it at the factory. It was kind of a funny story. I was down there. We were doing a private blend for one of my customers, and Craig gave me one as he walked by. It just had a factory band on it. And I was doing some work on my computer, and I lit it up, and I'm smoking it. And it just really struck me as just a really tasty cigar. So when he walked back by, I said, "What is this?" And he went in and started explaining it's the Black Cross, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be our new cigar at the show this year. And it ended up we had to tweak it out a little bit more. But as soon as he got finished telling me about the cigar, the next word out of his mouth was, I better not see this on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else.
I know you guys were pretty quiet on it.
Yeah. So we've tried to hold it down a little bit. But that's what he's saying. We're talking about January, hopefully. So just in
That's
the
great.
very near future.
Great. Good to look forward to.
And Will, you were talking about some of their cigars before the show. Did you cover all those already? You said it very quick before we started.
Yeah, I mean, the another line this was absolutely a home run for me. And this cigar's been out for about probably 5 years or so. Is that you have a Habano line, and you have it in a natural and a Maduro,
Right.
and that Habano Maduro in the Robusto size. If folks haven't tried that cigar, it is an incredible cigar. It is still to this day. Mark knows it's my favorite because if you ask me what I want to smoke, I say, you got one of those Habano Maduros? I'd really encourage folks to give it a try. It's fantastic.
Well, Will, you've even, the times we've talked either with other shows or when you've been up here, that's the cigar you talk about all the time. Is the Habano Maduro.
It was a top 3 cigar for me a few years ago. It was the number 3 cigar of mine. That's how good it was. I mean, it's and they've done some great cigars. I've really been impressed with the work Craig and his team have done. That one just continues to and it's a great price point too.
You were asking about the bloodline before too.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
the bloodline.
Yep, Bloodline is that's the other one, which is not. You guys are making that.
We make it and we do the distribution on the cigar, but it's a separate company.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting cigar. It's a 75% Ligero cigar.
Wow.
It's Habano, but it's been put through a process that they call soft crushing the tobacco, which moves the oils out of the stems and veins more into the leaf. So it's very smooth. It's not a head buster by any stretch. It actually, to me, it smokes kind of like a hard medium, and just a different flavor than pretty much anything on the market.
How do they crush the leaves? Do they press them?
It's a press. I don't know the exact process. I haven't watched our blender Gonzalo do the work on it, but that was the way it was explained to me.
So at some point in the process, they're putting all the individual leaves through a
correct,
press?
an additional amount of weight on the tobacco in order to get that oil out
of the stems and into the leaf. That's interesting. I never heard that before.
The gentleman that started Bloodline, his name is Micah Johnson, another retailer in California, friends of Craig's. Mm-hmm. And he kind of got burned out. The shop thing started getting on his nerves, and he wanted to come out with a cigar line of his own. And it took him a year to come up with the blend. He was driving Gonzalo crazy down at the factory because everything Gonzalo rolled him was, that tastes like this, that tastes like that. I'm looking for a cigar that's different. Mm. And Gonzalo, being the old Cuban that he is, they used to actually extract oil from tobacco leaves, and it was used as an ingredient in perfumes in Europe. Yeah. And waste not, want not, they still smoke the leaf. Mm-hmm. So that's what led him to try this particular method, similar but not to the extent of extracting the oil, and rolled it up and gave it to Micah to smoke, and he said, that's it, that's the one I want. So he has a Habano line, and then he also has a Connecticut line in that cigar.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Mm. And I haven't been able to try the whole line yet, obviously.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, this Lancero it's bigger than a typical Lancero, but this is an exceptional cigar. This will be part of the regular rotation now. I can't wait till it sits for a couple days and burns perfectly.
I'm glad you'll enjoy it. I wish the cigars had been here a little bit sooner, but that's the way things work sometimes.
Not yours.
It's a two-way deal sometimes.
Yeah, well, no, we had to do our Black Friday to get through some inventory to clear up some space for
Sure.
you.
There you go.
Which we wanted to do.
Right,
and,
right.
Well,
we
while
really
we do have the
appreciate
largest walk-in around, 800 facings, it still takes a little bit to work in a new line.
It does. No, we're very, very happy to be here.
And John, our manager, who's a big cigar guy,
yes.
He was the one who tried it and said no. He said, we got to bring this in and see how it goes because it's a quality stick.
And he's been great to work with. It's every text, every phone call, quick response, really fantastic. It's been nothing but very professional.
Great.
We appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thanks for coming into the Stogie Geek studio and taking time out of
Thanks,
your
Mark.
time to come
Absolutely.
here. Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks, Coop.
Yep. Tell Craig and you are welcome on anytime. So,
sounds good. I'll be down in the Carolinas next week. Maybe I'll bump into you.
Give me. I'm actually taking a few days off next week, so let me know.
Yeah. I'll be down there probably Thursday or Friday.
Great.
Todd, always nice to see you and have you on the show.
Thanks very much, Paul. Always great to be here, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
We're going to take a break and come back and start episode 122 of the Stogie Geek Show. So. We'll be